Hello everyone and welcome back to more Knowing Wheel. Yesterday we return with yet another episode 69 in fact, of the series, which of course on any podcast or any show in the world is of course a huge milestone. I think, Jamie, you had organised to bring the confetti for this, hadn't you?
That I missed that memo, unfortunately.
Confetti and party poppers. We are here, definitely, yeah, you can say that. Wave to the camera, Jamie, as always.
Hello. I waved in the wrong direction there, but we move.
This is already, I think, one of the worst intros we've done to a show, and on such a glorious occasion as today. But yes, hello everyone, and welcome back to more Knowing Wheel. Of course, it's the summer break still in the world of Formula 1, which in many ways is good. It was meant to give us a bit of a chance to relax. Unfortunately, Jamie decided he would go away during the most chaotic week ever in the world of Formula 1. But at the time we're recording this, we're actually planning ahead. So I apologise now when, I don't know, Lewis Hamilton's announced a shock joining Ferrari for the second half of the year or something, and he's joined by Max Verstappen or something mad like that, or something crazy's happened. I'll be honest, this is being recorded, I think, just over a week in advance. So when we get something wrong, that's the mood we're going with today. But of course, as always, if you're new to the podcast, definitely, if you're watching this on YouTube, check out the links down below. Spotify, we've got Bybit, we've got clips, everything like that. Definitely would recommend going and checking it out. But before we get into it, though, Jamie, how are we doing today, mate?
I'm good. Yeah, we're recording a bit later because one of us was late.
Yes, one of us was late to our 3 o'clock recording.
Yes, but no, I'm good, and we're here to review our pre-season predictions because that's a classic thing to do in an F1 summer break. I think we should start though with our race by race predictions. Just do a little rundown of the scores for that.
Do we want to? I mean, this is going to be an uncoordinated mess today. Do we want to go through our each bold predictions when we get to that team?
Yeah. I meant actually the race by race, like who's winning in the predictions table.
Oh, right. You just want to bring up that up again because you're eggy as nothing else on earth.
It hasn't actually been updated, but I think I'm on 49 and no. Yes, I'm on 49, you're on 34.
Oh.
So it's not looking good for Matt.
How am I 15 points back just through you being eggy? That's what I don't get.
It's just pure real knowledge.
I genuinely reckon I've made as many, if not more, correct general podium predictions.
Yeah,
but
I'm just getting them bang on.
It's just the fact you get far too many just BS ones bang on at this point of the championship. But yeah, as Jamie mentioned though, today we're going to be jumping in and looking back to, I've actually got the podcast up at the moment, the 15th of March this show went live, so we probably did it the night before on the 14th of March, so that was 5 months ago. We'd seen all the car reveals, we sort of spoke about the hype, everything like that. And then we jumped in and predicted not only actually all the teams, but also where we thought all the drivers would finish in 2022. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go in the reverse championship order for the actual results so far in 2022. So we're obviously going to kick it off with Williams, then get all the way up to Red Bull at the top of the championship. So Williams then, first of all, Jamie. I guess we should probably talk about the teams a little bit as well, shouldn't we? Williams, it's been weird, hasn't it? Like, they're last by a long shot, but it doesn't feel like an absolute disaster of a season so far.
No, it doesn't feel like they've been cut adrift. But yeah, it's been really weird because they were probably better last season in terms of the pace, and certainly I think George Russell helped with that massively.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's an air of positivity, which is always nice at Williams. But they've also not really done very much. I think Albon got a point at Australia and then 2 points in Miami, and that's been it so far. Latifi got that one Q3 at Silverstone, has done nothing else at all season. And yeah, they all seem quite happy, so I'm happy for them, but it's like they are last.
What are they smiling about exactly, isn't it? Yeah. It's a bit weird down at Williams still, but do you know where you predicted Williams to finish this year?
I either put them 9th or 10th, I think. But I think it was 9th.
Put them 10th.
Oh,
so that's immediately a point on the board for Jamie183.
There we go.
I might have predicted them P8, which was better than my earlier, like when we were going through all the car reveals, things like that. I think at one point apparently said 5th place. I don't remember saying that. There's
No,
no
it was
evidence
in like January. We
support
were
that.
deep in the winter break, and you'd lost it a bit.
And I was still sad after Abu Dhabi. So but I predicted Williams 8th overall, which, to be fair, we get another Belgian from last year. Isn't technically impossible.
They are
24 points back.
24 points. So if Nicholas Latifi wins Belgium Grand Prix,
they're straight back in it.
They're straight back in it. Yeah, I don't see them beating AlphaTauri and Aston Martin, to be perfectly honest.
Nor do I. But a boy can dream.
Yeah. Yeah, and shall we go on to each of the teams, apart from Haas for some reason, we did a bold prediction alongside our livery reveals and stuff like that. So for us, I've got this open. I don't know if you have as well.
I have as well.
You predicted one podium.
It could still happen.
It could happen. We were at this stage last year, and they hadn't got a podium, and then George Russell got one. So you never know. Stranger things have happened.
However, my other prediction...
Your second one actually looks all right. You never know about that either, which is Red Bull powered by 2023, which... There's not been massive talks, but we've been speaking about it a bit in the previous podcast.
It certainly won't happen next year, but I don't think it's impossible in the near future.
No, certainly not. And my bold prediction actually looks pretty decent.
I mean, bold is
very safe.
A bit of an exaggeration for your prediction. I was predicting bold here. You've just been bold with your prediction. Like a bold person.
Yeah. 0 poles, 0 wins. Bottom 2 constructors, less than 10 points. All looks pretty good.
Depressingly accurate.
Yeah. I'm sorry to the Williams team, but yeah, I'm right, so I'll take it.
I'm waiting for them to get that podium this weekend. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely great. In terms of Drivers' Championship, though, you predicted Latifi in 20th and Alex Albon in P19, which isn't far out, to be fair.
That is right at the minute.
I predicted Albon 15th and Latifi 16th, which isn't quite as accurate, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
I don't think Albon's...
No, they are 19th, 20th.
They are 19th, 20th now, aren't they? Because Mick Schumacher's got his finger out his rear end, out of his exhaust pipe. But, Albon could still outscore, Stroll, Zhou Guan Yu. He could get up to P17. Latifi, I don't have any hope.
As well.
He's going to need a bit more of a miracle to get past Tsunoda and Schumi, but we'll wait and see. You never know. A boy can dream.
Yeah, I don't see Latifi scoring at all.
No,
before
exactly.
He gets out at the end of the season.
Putting Latifi any more than last there was probably not great. Should we move on then up the grid slightly? Should we head up to Aston Martin?
So. Yeah, Aston Martin next in 9th place in real life. I don't know where I put them, but I feel like it probably wasn't 9th.
It was not.
No, that's a shame. Where did I put them?
Jamie put them 8th, and I put them 7th.
Okay, so we were pretty negative.
Both of us still fairly negative, but believing in Aston Martin more than they really have delivered this year.
Yeah, and to be fair to them, they're not far off AlphaTauri or Haas in the points, so that could be something they aspire to. And their race pace has been more decent in the second half of the first half of the season. So it could be something they move on to, but neither of us correct on that one. Drivers-wise, do you know, have you got that up?
So, I predicted Seb 11th and Lance Stroll 12th.
They're currently 14th and 18th.
I've been optimistic so far.
Yeah, at least you had Seb beating Stroll.
Yep.
Positive.
That's always reassuring. You had them Seb 15th, Stroll 17th.
Ooh, that's not that bad. One out on each. I'll take that.
You've done pretty well there so far.
And our bold prediction for Aston Martin, probably the highlight of our video, both of our bold predictions for these. Well, less about the first part of each of ours, because you put 0 poles, 1 podium.
I was predicting a lot of podiums for different teams in 2022.
Yeah, I put 1 pole and 0 wins, 1 podium each, which I don't see happening. I reckon maybe they could sneak a podium somewhere, but certainly not a pole position. I don't think so. But our second part each, you had Sebastian Vettel to retire.
I got it in one!
Which is bang on, as we know.
I see a sad and disappointed man when I know one.
Yeah. And I had Hulkenberg to drive because of COVID.
Which you got bang on.
Instantly became correct.
I mean, you have, again, just like you do in all of our predictions, absolutely egged that. But fair play to you. Fair play to you. I'll give you credit where it's due. But I mean, again, Aston Martin this year, it's not been great, has it, for them either? You know, we're going to lose Seb at the end of the year. Alonso's going to absolutely destroy the team from the inside out. Next year, I mean, he's just gonna. I mean, Stroll's just gonna be in tears most of next season.
Yeah.
A lot of it still is talks about apparently Lawrence Stroll is way too hands-on, and of course is good at selling Ralph Lauren rather than Formula One cars. But you know, we move.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of hope because obviously the theme of the recent races has been like you've got Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes covering the top 6 positions if they all finish.
Lando Norris, the Alpines, and then you've got 1 point.
Norris and an Alpine duo, and then that final point has been going to Aston recently. 4 out of the last 5 races, they've got 9th or 10th, which obviously isn't great. But if they keep on doing that, obviously the likes of AlphaTauri and Haas and Alfa Romeo aren't going to be scoring points. So they could move up the order with their race pace, but it's not looking amazing if they're aspiring for P9 on a best case scenario.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but that being said, they have had the most progress of any team in terms of pace this year. You know, the big upgrades they brought to Spain didn't quite work out that weekend, but since then have been very, very good. So, you know, they're definitely going in the right direction, aren't they, still, Aston Martin? But
yeah, and they're improving their driver lineup next season as well. So
exactly. Yeah, that's going to get controversial, but it's a very, very good point.
Yes. Shall we move on to...
We shall.
Probably, I would say, one of the most disappointing teams this season.
Weirdly so, isn't it? Now, AlphaTauri, we both predicted P5 for them, which, looking back, to be honest, was really stupid.
It was a little bit stupid.
Because why, as a Red Bull Junior team, would they nail regs?
It's true. But then, like last season, Gasly consistently was qualifying ahead of Ferrari and McLaren's. He was qualifying like P5, P6 every single week. So if they kept that trajectory, they could have been all right, but it's really not come together for them.
No, it has been a very, very disappointing year, and it's not been helped, of course, because, don't get me wrong, as a team you shouldn't rely on one of your drivers, but Gasly hasn't really delivered like last year either, has he? Whereas Tsunoda's made a lot better progress.
Yeah, Gasly had that 5th in Baku, and that's kind of the only highlight, really. But yeah, it's been a couple of points here and there for each of them. Tsunoda's been closer to Gasly, but I still think Gasly has had the edge. Although saying that Tsunoda had that DRS issue in Baku as well, which cost him probably 6th or 7th.
Exactly.
And he would have been right there.
Yeah, it's been a weird tale, hasn't it, down at AlphaTauri so far? Because either driver could be ahead of the other in the championship. There's so many sort of what-ifs and whens. But at the end of the day, they just haven't got a car that's meant that both of them can be there fighting for points each week.
Well, they've not got a double points finish yet, which I didn't know.
Have they not?
No.
No, actually, that doesn't surprise me particularly. I mean, they've only got 27 points on the board, but... Yeah, disappointment so far from AlphaTauri. Where are they currently in the Drivers' Championship, Jamie? Just remind me.
They are 16th for Tsunoda and 13th for Gasly.
So we
will have gone massively optimistic on this if you put them 5th.
We both predicted Gasly P9. You predicted Tsunoda 12th. I predicted Tsunoda 14th.
Right.
So I'm a little bit closer there.
But it doesn't really matter.
But not by a lot.
Gasly, the way the championship is, the top 10 are kind of broken off from everyone else. So Gasly could still finish 11th if it comes together for him. But yeah, it's not looking like they're going to get that 5th place. It's quite a big gap up to even like Alfa Romeo are quite a stretch at the minute, and McLaren have got 3 times AlphaTauri's points. So it's not looking that good.
No, exactly. In terms, though, of pre-season predictions, neither of these are looking very good. I said Gasly to leave mid-season with no poles and no podiums.
You know what? That could be all right.
Could still happen.
If Alpine are actually really annoyed with Alonso, they could just sack him. And then
I can't see them doing that.
Well, this video is coming out 8 days after we record, so if that's happened, then
if that has happened, then fair play. But yeah, I mean, so I might have nailed the prediction through the most eggy means possible.
Yeah.
You, however, it's not looking good for yours, is it?
Not particularly.
1 podium for Pierre, and you also said they were going to completely change their lineup for 2023. Liam Lawson and Dennis Hauger, neither of which so far have really delivered where we'd hoped for in F2.
No, not really. The podium for Gasly, he could sneak one. He wasn't far away in Baku, if I remember correctly. Let me just check. He was only 30 seconds off a podium. He was only 6 seconds off a P4, so that's close.
Okay, with
But
both
yeah.
Ferraris out.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, it's not looking likely. But you never know. A crazy race, maybe.
A crazy race.
We'll
perhaps.
move on from AlphaTauri because
We
it didn't go
will.
very well.
And probably on to one of the feel-good stories of 2022 so far, isn't it? And that, of course, is Haas. What a year it's been from Haas so far. You know, we spent a lot of last season saying, if they didn't adjust to the new regs, they were basically down and out. And Haas have adjusted to the new regs quite well. It's always a bit weird to remember as well, isn't it, that they're still only 6th? Because we
They're
can't...
7th in the championship.
7th, sorry, even. Because you kind of hype them up like they're sort of 5th or 4th or something like that. And some weekends they have had the car to fight there, but then other weekends they have been kicking around with Williams and Aston Martin.
Yeah, it is a shame for all these lower midfield teams because, as we said, the top, all of the points really should be taken by the top 5 teams.
Yeah.
But Daniel Ricciardo obviously doesn't count. And then,
No.
yeah, they're really scrapping. It's almost like back in the day when it was 8 cars, something like 2007, 2008, when there were 8-point finishes positions. You had McLaren, Ferrari, BMW, and Renault just locking out the points every week, and it was so hard for anyone else to even get in.
Yeah, it is a bit mad still, isn't it? And really, when you think about it, you've basically still got those 4 teams, haven't you?
Yeah.
With
plus a Mercedes.
plus
or
Mercedes.
It was back then.
Yeah, exactly. And Honda certainly weren't scoring points in 07 in their weight too often.
No.
We were both wildly pessimistic, though, about Haas.
I don't even know. Had Magnussen even been at Haas?
Yes,
when we did
I
this?
did actually check
Okay.
this prior. Magnussen had been confirmed. You went Haas P9. I said
Okay.
Haas P10. So neither of
Yeah.
us were really hoping a lot from them. However, interestingly, I think this was one of the only driver lineups where we predicted different championship order to each other, like who would come out on top in the team battle. You said Schumacher 16th.
He is 15th.
He is 15th.
Almost all right.
But you predicted K-Mag 18th.
Yeah, I think I just thought the year out would hurt K-Mag a lot more than it has. But he's not that far ahead of Mick. Obviously, Mick's only scored points twice, but they were pretty big points. So you never know. It's only 10 points difference between them. Magnussen's in 11th, Schumacher 15th.
Could see a bit of a shake-up still, couldn't we? All it takes is one mad result, isn't it, for Mick?
And ever since Miami, Schumacher scored more than Magnussen. So
yeah, that's again only because he had 2 big results.
Yeah.
And one of them, Magnussen, probably could have, if he really wanted to, still tried to outscore him at Austria, but still. I went Magnussen 18th just like yourself, but then went Schumacher 19th. Again, I really wasn't expecting much from Haas this year. Really, really good from them so far. You know, we're hoping second half of the year they can continue fighting their way up the order with a bit of luck.
And we didn't actually do any bold predictions for Haas because
they didn't announce their car until too late, didn't they?
No, they were the first ones, and we just hadn't got into the swing of things, and it just caught us off guard.
Yes,
I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do remember now. Now you mentioned it. Up then to P6 overall in the championship.
This is my favourite part of the video.
Alfa Romeo, a team that no one predicted to do quite well, apart from their one ridiculously biased fanboy. And it's paid off for him.
I'm going to go and look at all those comments after this recording.
I'll see if I can find any quickly for you. Imagine if Alfa Romeo exceed expectation and do really well this season. Top comment.
Nice. Yep. Well, everyone put them 10th. I can't remember where you put them.
I had the same exact reaction to Matt when I saw Alfa in 6th.
Yes, if you didn't know already, I did put them 6th because I was a massively optimistic Zhou Guanyu fan. And to be fair, they've actually smashed it and they are 6th. So, mainly down to Valtteri Bottas because Joe has had the absolute luck of, Fernando Alonso since 2007. So, yeah, it's not gone well for him so far in terms of points. But there's been signs of improvement. It's just a shame that the improvement for Joe came when the car suddenly got bad.
Got worse, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I'm currently right. I think they might have a chance of keeping 6th because they are considerably 17 points back to Haas.
Yeah, it's
and the way that as we said, the way the championship's going, the points are kind of locked out unless you get a crazy race.
Yeah, you'd basically need, wouldn't you, like Alpine and McLaren both to just nosedive, and also 2 other teams to just go skyward for Alpha to probably... I mean, Haas could, with some decent consistency, close that up by the end of the year.
Yeah.
But I certainly wouldn't put money on it by any means. But I mean, really, I think the big talking point there, isn't it, is of course, Alfa Romeo's still struggling a bit with reliability. It's not been their year reliability-wise.
Joe's had the most DNFs, I think, of anyone.
Lack of talent. But I think a lot of it, of course, is just the fact, we've seen the Ferrari power unit come back on leaps and bounds. It is weird, isn't it, that Alfa Romeo and Haas are very much dependent on how bad a Ferrari engine they get.
Yeah. I think I would trust like the Sauber engineers more than the Haas engineers to make a reasonable car outside of the engines, which I think we've seen this season because generally the Alfa has been a bit ahead of the Haas.
Yeah, the Haas seems to have more peak performance, doesn't it? The Alfa Romeo seems a more well-rounded car.
Yeah, especially low speed. They did pretty well earlier in the season. Bottas has had he's had 3 top 6 finishes actually, which is pretty good.
Yeah, Spain, he was rapid, wasn't he? Because he was just miles out in front of any of the other midfielders.
Yeah, he was best of the rest quite easily. So yeah, it's been pretty good. I can't remember where you put them in the championship, but
I said
definitely wasn't 6th. Yeah, along with the rest of the world who are all wrong, which I like to remind people of.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. In terms of championship, though, Jamie,
you put Joe 20th. And I
did put Zhou Guanyu 20th because I honestly wasn't expecting anything from him, which is far closer than you.
It's not far closer. I think
13th.
Was it 13th?
Yeah.
So
what position is Zhou Guanyu? So I'm closer then.
You are closer, but he shouldn't be doing that badly.
No.
The points don't tell the full story there.
And where is Bottas currently in real life?
9th.
Oh, so you said 10th. I said 17th.
Right, so I'm a lot closer on that one.
That one you might have just edged me out on.
Yeah,
that one you might have edged
slightly.
me out. But I mean, again, a bit like Haas, what a season it's been for Ferrari. For Alfa Romeo so far. Really have recovered a whole lot better than any of us thought they did.
Oh,
here we go.
For Alfa Romeo.
I mean, I don't know which one's worse.
You put 0 poles. Well, we both put 0 poles, 0 wins.
You put a podium for each driver. You optimistic.
That might still no, it won't happen.
It won't happen.
But you put a Bottas 4th place finish, which he's not. He's got a 5th.
5th,
I think.
Exactly. Spain. I'm not far off.
No, it was. Emilia Romagna.
Oh yeah, sorry, of course. So I won't far out there.
Spain. Yeah. So that one's not bad. And you put Joe is out for 23, which might still happen. I don't think it'd be off the grid. But you never know. I have seen talk of Joe to Alpine, which I'd absolutely love.
But didn't he come out recently saying he left the Alpine Junior Academy for a reason?
No, he said, well, it was a misquoted headline. He was glad he left Alpine because it got him a seat on the grid.
Yeah.
But he has no bad feelings towards them.
Read your articles, kids. Don't just read the headlines.
Yeah, the clickbait is real on that one.
Exactly.
And then we went overboard on these Alpha predictions, I think, because you were trying to rinse me so hard. You said 18.5 in quali. I don't know what it is. I think it's 3 to Joe and the rest to Bottas.
I think so, yeah. So, I mean, you predicted 17.6. Yeah. So, we're not far out.
We could be alright in
terms of
that.
quali predictions.
The worst one.
However one, yeah. Read that out, Jamie. Let's just savour this.
I said Zhou Guanyu scores 75% of Bottas's points.
Which is ludicrous, because what percentage is he on? About 12?
So Bottas is on 46, Joe is on 5.
So it is about 12%.
5 out of 46 is 11%.
Oh!
But if you count since Joe became a serious driver around Baku,
which we don't, because
he's scored 2/3 of Bottas's points
like
and got screwed over.
That's like saying if you only count the 2021 F season after Mercedes gave Hamilton a powerful power unit, he would have won
an illegal a rocket in the back of his car.
I watched back Brazil yesterday because I was
ridiculous.
feeling sad. That was just mad. But anyway, back to 2022 predictions and laughing at ourselves for being terrible. Should we move up the rostrum?
Yeah.
Have we said everything we need to?
McLaren.
McLaren. I'm not sure I want to talk about this, if I remember correctly. No, I don't.
I don't know. I don't have a clue. I think I put them 4th, and they're currently 5th.
You did put them 4th, which, to be fair, is not far out.
And they can easily finish. That's one of the biggest battles in the championship right now.
Exactly. That's not far off. I said 3rd, ahead of Red Bull.
Interesting.
No.
They've currently
dearie
got
me.
less. If you multiply McLaren by 4, they would still be off Red Bull.
I mean, it's still possible. It's not
I don't
over
know if
until
it
it's
is.
over, Jamie.
Oh, it probably is.
It's basically the equivalent of play to the whistle.
Yeah. Play from 0-0.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking that. Yeah, play from 0-0.
Yeah, I think I was like, they're just going to be solidly 4th best. I think I put them 7th and 8th in the championship, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Just like well off the top 3 and comfortably ahead of the rest,
Yeah.
which Lando Norris is right now. For the less said about Daniel Ricciardo, the better. And by the time this comes out, he probably will have lost his seat.
He's probably back at Alpine, yeah. Making himself cozy. I think I kind of got into a trap of really thinking 2022 could be like the all-new 2009, where I thought Mercedes and Red Bull are going to completely trip over themselves. I thought Mercedes is just going to like clutch up, but I thought, you'll get a couple of other teams that can really sort of throw themselves in the mix, Ferrari, McLaren, get right back there. And so far, Ferrari have done, but McLaren certainly haven't.
No, just the one podium so far. But to be fair to Norris, he's done very well outside of that. With the car he has, unfortunately, it's not quite the heights of last season, where he was like 3rd in the championship at Zandvoort. But yeah, for Ricciardo, it's not gone too well. He's in 12th.
No, and you...
a long way off.
Yeah, so you predicted Norris Ricciardo 7th, 8th. I predicted him 6th, 7th.
Right, so I've got Norris right.
Yeah.
And Ricciardo has disappointed everyone.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're only one off on Norris and more off on Ricciardo.
Exactly. But, I mean...
And our bold prediction.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, no. Do I want to look?
Dear.
Oh, no.
You put 4
Oh,
pole
don't
positions.
say it! Ah!
That's pretty painful. And 1 win, which you said would be in Monaco,
I thought,
which didn't happen.
He owns those streets. Sorry,
He
Lando
runs those
Norris, I
streets.
mean by that.
They did get a 6th place in the fastest lap at Monaco, which I'm sure is what you meant.
It does give the same amount of points, doesn't it? There's 19 bonus points for a fastest lap, yeah? 17 bonus points?
Maybe in the future at some point. I put for McLaren 0.
Yours are looking
Interesting.
good.
I'm very inconsistent. Because in the livery reveal, I said 0 poles, 0 wins, and that they would lose to Alpine. But then in the actual predictions, I put they'd beat Alpine.
Yeah.
So I've covered all my bases.
So you've
one way
just
or
been
another,
eggy, is what we've established.
I'm going to be right in one regard.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about where you predicted Alpine in just a moment. But, I mean, yeah, like we said, that battle is still the big one, isn't it? In terms of teams.
Just 4 points in it.
I guess you could say Ferrari, Mercedes now as well. Could get
Yeah,
spicy in the second half of the year. But, yeah, fair play, JB. Did better than me on that one. Let's jump up then to Alpine. I don't think either of us predicted them to lose their past and their future this season over the space of 24 hours. But 4th place so far has been, up until after the summer break started, a very solid year so far for them. Until it all went Pete Tong when they lost everything they've ever owned.
Yeah, all they've got now is 1 Frenchman.
Yes, one Frenchman. You predicted Alpine in 7th. I predicted them 6th. So neither of us were really expecting anything from Alpine this year.
No.
But I was closer.
Yeah, I guess we got lulled into the AlphaTauri hype, and that came at the cost of
Which
Alpine.
we
really.
don't know where that came from.
Yeah, I would like to go back and think through that a bit more.
I mean, it is quite funny reading back through some of the comments. Like,
yeah,
some of
I'm
these
sure.
are brilliant. Yeah.
Alpine have just been solidly, 4th, 5th fastest. They're getting double points most weeks. So fair play. Currently, Alonso is 10th and Ocon 8th. But Alonso did have 0 luck for the first 5 races of the season.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know the points gap. I expect Alonso to still beat Ocon in the championship if he actually has a drive.
Yeah. He will.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he will. But obviously he's off next season, so maybe they'll just keep favouring Ocon even more than they have been. Yeah, where do we put them in the drivers?
So we both said Alonso would beat Ocon, to be fair, which is still highly possible by the end of the year. So you went 11th and 14th, which isn't far out, to be fair.
Okay.
I went 10th, so bang on with Fernando
on.
Alonso.
There you go.
And 13th with Ocon, so not quite as good there.
No.
But then again, I was predicting a stupidly tight midfield.
You were. And it's not been quite as tight as we thought.
No.
Really.
No, exactly.
But what we predicted very early on in the winter break was you went for a podium for Ocon
Yeah.
Which could happen.
Could
That's
still
not the
happen, not
question.
impossible. Oh, I've just read yours.
Oh yeah, that's going to be interesting. And you also put 12 or more mechanical failures.
Getting
right
there,
now,
aren't we?
they're so.
I mean,
Saudi
to be
Arabia
fair, they've had
was.
more mechanical issues.
Emilia-Romagna wasn't. That was a crash, wasn't it? Because someone hit a side pod. Monaco.
Monaco, they
Yeah, it
egged
was-
the weekend, didn't they?
Wait, Alpine. And then the only one that one's Britain, where it's a crash again. So they're on one mechanical failure.
Yeah, but I mean, Canada, they basically did. They ran out of air.
Australia, they basically did
Yeah.
because they had one in qualifying when he was going to get pole.
Exactly. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Let's-
It's an optimistic 3.
We'll talk about an optimistic 3 versus Jamie's absolutely insane prediction.
We'll start with the best one. I put them in pre-season 4th in constructors, which might happen.
Might still happen. Very possible. I
I-
like the fact we're saying
is it-
might when they're literally there now.
They literally are there. 4th, I also put them at 0 poles, which
Probably
that's
going
on.
to happen.
I put 1 win for Alonso, which
You egg.
probably won't happen. I also put Alonso, Norris, and Russell to share a podium, which, if that comes off, will be incredible. But I don't see it coming off really.
I mean, if you, I'm willing to let you predict that for every single pre-weekend prediction for the rest of the year.
I'd probably still beat you overall. So
I
it's
hate
alright.
the fact you probably would, yeah. Because
If I got Russell in the right position, he
we
would
would
get 2
just get
points,
9 races in a row where it's just pure egg and that happens.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I might whip it out at some point. You never know.
Please don't on the show. Let's jump up then.
Let's move on as quickly as possible.
This is
from
where
that.
things get a bit bad, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Mercedes P3. Now, Jamie, you nailed that. Mercedes
Yeah,
P3.
I put them 3rd. I saw it coming. The porpoising was a big issue, and it recently hasn't been, but it still is there in the background. They're just running a really high ride height now.
I
so yeah,
didn't.
you didn't. I think you put them to win. If I
I
remember
might
correctly.
have put them to win, which, to be fair, if they continue to hype up their upgrades, 130 points over 9 races when you've got the best driver lineup on the grid, it's not likely, don't get me wrong.
That's so
but
much
it's-
bait in that
But
sentence.
it isn't, I mean, it's true. Hamilton and George Russell is the best duo in the grid at the moment. Who's got a
I
better
just
driver
noticed
lineup?
how many podiums in a row Red Bull are on. That's mad. I was going to say Mercedes had the most podiums in a row, but they don't,
No.
because Red Bull have got a 1 or a 2 every race since Bahrain,
Yes, yeah.
which is pretty mad.
But-
Yeah, to be fair, Hamilton Russell is a very, very top duo.
Yeah, he's the best lineup at the moment because Sainz has started frauding it. Because it really was a toss-up between... I mean,
Perez
you
isn't
could have
quite as
argued
good as
5
Russell.
years ago, well, 5 years ago, Daniel Ricciardo, that McLaren are right there. But at the moment, George Russell and Hamilton are the only 2 drivers in a team that are getting everything out of the car each week.
Yeah, definitely. And they've had 0 mechanical DNFs yet, which is pretty incredible.
Which is insane. I mean, they could... I mean, let's be fair. Had George not decided he'd just try and murder Zhou Guanyu at Britain,
Yeah.
they could easily be on, what, like 310, 315 points? They could be even
Yeah,
closer
you've
to
already
Ferrari.
got probably a top 5, top 6 there.
Yeah, I'm not sure I really want to talk about current predictions for the championship, Jamie, in terms of drivers.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, you went for a number 8 for Hamilton.
Hamilton, yeah, should be on for his 8th world title right now.
Which he's 112 points short.
I mean, again, not saying it's impossible. Kimi Raikkonen 2007 style for what, 5 race weekends in a row?
Yeah.
It's not over until it's over.
Hamilton could still get 2nd. He's definitely on one of the form drivers right now, isn't he? So he might still get P2.
Yeah, I mean, what, Hamilton's
on
32
5.
points behind Charles.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Which
is...
is insane considering how bad Hamilton was for the first
Well,
6
Lando
races.
Norris Lando Norris is closer to Hamilton than Charles Leclerc is to Max Verstappen.
That is embarrassing.
It's such an eggy championship battle now because there's a fantastic 5-way scrap for P2 and
Yeah.
just Max Verstappen.
Yeah, it's a bit like 2011, 2013, isn't it?
Really, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where you put Russell, but
I put Russell 3rd, which, to be fair, again, could still happen by the end of the year.
yeah, I don't see both of yours coming off.
No, nor do I.
But there we go. I can't remember if I put them 3rd in the constructors, probably around
Yes, you
4th
did.
and 6th.
It's spot on. 4th for
Oh,
Hamilton,
but
6th
I'm
for
guessing
George
in the
Russell.
wrong order.
Yeah. So it's another one we got the driver order wrong.
Yeah.
But again, Hamilton had a rough start to the year. A lot of the team was trying to just test different setups on Hamilton's car. Whilst Russell generally went down the sort of more...
And Russell had a lot more luck.
More accurate or more predicted route. So I think, I think Hamilton could still very easily beat Russell by the end of the year, certainly based on form in recent times. But, both of them have ran really good campaigns over the last sort of few races.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think the less we talk about them, the better for me.
And our bold predictions for Mercedes, we were both wildly optimistic in pre-season.
I don't think mine can anymore, can they?
Yours actually cannot.
I got
one of
one
mine
right.
can't either. So, yeah, you went for 6 poles, 10 wins, and
Yep.
with 9 races left, they're on 1 pole.
Yep.
So, if the Belgian technical directive helps them a lot, you never know.
Still doable.
I went for 7 poles, 9 wins. So, yeah, 6 more poles,
And
9 wins in a row.
every race in the
You never
second
know.
half of the year. Definitely possible.
The directive takes us back to 2014. It could happen. And then I went, you went for Merck to not win the opening 2 rounds, which they were nowhere near in either of them.
Well, they got a podium in Bahrain.
Yeah, not very deserved, but there we go.
A podium's a podium, mate. It's like all of your league racing wins.
Well, true. And then, I went for 2 wins in the first 7 races, which... did they even get... I think they got 2 podiums in the first 7 races.
Yeah, I think so. Bahrain
they actually
and
got
then
3.
Australia. Yeah, so again, neither of us were particularly good with Mercedes. I don't think anyone expected the downfall we've seen from them this year. Let's jump further on then to the bottle jobs themselves. Ferrari.
Yeah.
I mean, we've spoke about it enough, haven't we, on the show in recent weeks. Ferrari, they've desperately got to pull their finger out their bum. I mean, let's be fair. You could still end up winning the Constructors' Championship, but none of us believe they will. Because they're going to finish P3 behind Mercedes.
Yeah, they're getting on 97 points behind Red Bull and on a lot worse form, despite still having the fastest car, certainly in qualifying. So, yeah, it's not been the best for Ferrari
It's
fans
not
this year.
looking good.
However, I think we bought into the hype hugely.
No, well, you did.
Oh, great. Here we go.
You said Ferrari to win, with Leclerc and Sainz P2 and P3 in the championship. So you got Leclerc right.
Yeah, and like we said, Sainz is very close to P3, but I don't think he will get it.
I think I'm almost a wizard. Let me just double
Why?
check. I think I'm almost...
You might be right.
I'm actually insane, Jamie.
Oh, you put him...
I've got Ferrari bang on. P2, Charles Leclerc second, Sainz fifth. I mean, they're both going to throw away those results, but...
They definitely won't finish there now, you said that.
I've absolutely nailed
but
Ferrari this
fair
year.
play. You're on it with Ferrari.
I predict the bottle jobs.
Yeah. And the bold predictions are not looking too good.
Oh, no. Are they not?
Actually, you know what? You put 12 poles, 7 wins. How many are they actually on?
They're on quite a lot of poles, aren't they?
Well, I think Leclerc has 6.
It's got to be 8, hasn't it? Is it 7 or 8?
I think it's 7 poles right now. So you need 5 more. And wins, they're on 4 wins. All
mine are still certainly possible for Ferrari.
They could come
second
off
overall.
Second in Constructors. That might happen. Mine's a bit more optimistic for 13 poles, 10 wins, and win the Constructors. But you never know. Like we said a lot. I'm not looking good, though.
Yeah. Speaking of not looking good, though, let's get into our final team, then, of this rundown. Of course, Red Bull Racing. Stellar 2022 campaign so far. They had a few hiccups early on in the year, but since then they really have stamped them out, haven't they? Throughout most of the season. You predicted them P2. I predicted them P4, which was, in hindsight, not great. I was very much on the Red Bull spent far too much time focusing on last year.
Pretty generous.
Not great is, my pretty generous representation of it. I only predicted him just to beat AlphaTauri somehow, but, we move.
Yeah, I'm so confused by that still. Why were we so optimistic about AlphaTauri?
Yeah, I don't really know. But you predicted Verstappen world champion, which, to be fair, is
looking
playing
good.
out. Is playing out. Sergio Perez P5, certainly again still possible, isn't it, by the end of the year?
Yeah, definitely, with the Mercedes.
I went Verstappen 4th, Perez 8th.
8th place. Did you have Gasly beating... No,
I had both McLaren drivers beating him.
Oof, that's not looking good.
Not looking great for me. But you know what? Fair play to Red Bull. They have absolutely nailed the regs.
They
this
have,
year.
and they've not even like we said it in last week's podcast, they've not had to do very much. They just keep getting handed race wins.
Yeah.
So it's not been like a flawless season by any means. They've just done what they had to, and they're winning both championships, and they probably will win both championships.
I'm quite interested, though. I'm just trying to piece things together here, Jamie. You predicted Red Bull to beat Mercedes, despite the fact you predicted Mercedes to win more than twice as many Grand Prix.
Oh well, the early preseason predictions, they were just off the rails. They don't count.
I mean, you predicted about 30 wins in preseason predictions. I said 3 wins or less with no poles. That's not going to happen. You said 4 wins and 1 pole, and you also said no wins for Checo. So we've both got those royally wrong.
We're wildly inaccurate. Although Checo only has 1, so I'm only 1 off.
Yeah, but that's even pretty good for Checo.
Yeah, it's true.
3 seasons in a row, though, he's won 1 race.
Yeah,
he's doing well.
It's going to continue.
He is doing well at the moment, certainly.
Yeah.
But I mean, what do we take away from this then, Jamie? I mean, we're gonna have to rename the show. Actually, well, yeah. I could rename my segment "Knowing Ferrari," which probably isn't that much of a flex.
Knowing Alfa Romeo, I'll take that.
There we go. The Knowing Alfa Romeo and Ferrari.
Basically, all the drivers that I support, I did quite well on.
Yeah, and I somehow just egged Ferrari.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I gave them the kiss of life or the kiss of death, to be honest, with the season they've had so far. But you know what? Fair play. We'll take it. Anything else to add, though, Jamie, before we round out this fun little episode where we go through our time machine?
I don't think there is. Let us know what you think will happen for the rest of the season. Maybe an end top 10.
I've just noticed as well, you predicted 24 wins this season.
Yeah, that's... It's a 23 races?
Yeah, 22.
Or 22,
now.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, Russia. Oh, dear. So, I mean, counting the sprints, that's 25. You never know.
And to be fair, I'm looking back through it now. I only predicted 22 wins this year, so I somehow knew Russia would get scrapped, apparently.
Yeah. Wow. That is
no, to be fair, by that point, Russia had invaded Ukraine, hadn't they? Because that was Feb.
Yeah,
so
they had.
I probably did know by that point then, yeah.
Fair play.
What a solemn note to end the podcast on this week.
Yeah, that's not the best from you.
No, exactly. Not the wisest, but thank you all so much for listening nonetheless. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed. And we will hopefully return next week. Will we be back with an actual
Belgium GP preview, will it not be?
No, we got one more before that, haven't we? No, I think that is the Belgium GP preview, isn't it? But you're away still, so it might be slightly late.
I'll be at there, so...
You'll be at there. Jamie will be at there.
I'll be at the Belgium.
Yes, you'll be at the Belgium. But thank you all so much for listening, and we will return very, very soon with more Knowing Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, and kind of Red Bull.
What a snappy title.
It's going to get shortened down.